This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our friends over at Curaleaf, one of the nation's top multi-state cannabis operators with 50 local dispensaries, 14 cultivation sites, and 13 processing facilities, serving up more than 165,000 registered medical marijuana patients. Check them out over at curaleaf.com, spelled C-U-R-A-L-E-A-F. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Thursday, January 30th, 2020, and you're tuned in to episode 876 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Yesterday in Colorado, Governor Jared Polis announced a very cool new pilot program that will forge a partnership between beer breweries and legal marijuana cultivators, where CO2 created in the beer making process will be captured and sold to cannabis cultivators, who will then release it in greenhouses to boost the growth of their plants. Currently, smaller beer makers tend to just vent off the CO2 created in their work, but this new pilot program will help fund new equipment to capture it for sale to marijuana growers. At the same time, the state announced a separate program that involves electricity utilities working with cultivation companies to identify places where they could be using energy more efficiently. This is something we need to see industry-wide right now when everything is still getting started. We can't ignore the environmental impacts associated with our business. Read this one. Michigan grabs today's second top story as the state's marijuana regulatory agency just released details on the new rules and regulations governing public events involving the use of marijuana. Michigan offers temporary licenses for event planners that runs from a day to 7 consecutive days where people can commercially consume cannabis in a public setting. That means concerts where you can consume, or farm-to-table events or dab parties. If it involves cannabis and getting people together for money, this new license type covers it. Under the new rules just dropped, event planners must apply at least 90 days before their scheduled event, take measures to restrict access to anyone under the age of 21, and hide away all cannabis consumption from public view. Swing over to the Huron Daily Tribune if you need more here. This is one of our industry's more interesting storylines, as we've barely scratched the surface of commercial public use, even as the dispensary model has fairly taken off nationwide. Today's final top story is another one you should read in full, as Susan R. Miller over at New Cannabis Ventures takes a great longer-form look at the Oklahoma legal cannabis market, which has had a fantastic start after adopting a model less than 2 years ago that is built around making it very, very easy to access the program, both as an entrepreneur and as a patient. It's both quick and cheap to get licensed as a medical marijuana business operator in Oklahoma, and around 5% of the entire state is a registered patient, with 235,786 in all as of January 20th. Throw on top of that 2,242 dispensaries served by 5,443 cultivators and 1,452 processors, and you get one robust market, with $345 million in medical marijuana sales in all flowing through the state last year. Susan's story is nicely comprehensive and also takes a look at some of the larger players in the state. It's probably a good idea to mention that one of our sponsors, Curaleaf, is one of them. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz it on headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, Curaleaf, one of the nation's top multi-state cannabis operators with 50 local dispensaries, 14 cultivation sites, and 13 processing facilities, serving up more than 165,000 registered medical marijuana patients. Everyone at Curaleaf is super excited about the opening of their new Cape Cod adult use dispensary, now their second adult use shop open in Massachusetts. This one's especially exciting because Curaleaf's new adult use store is the first of its kind out on Cape Cod, so now residents don't have to drive all the way to the mainland to access quality legal cannabis products. Open up Curaleaf.com today to learn more about Curaleaf's latest adult use shop opening and for more about all the other good things done by everyone working there. That's Curaleaf.com, spelled C-U-R-A-L-E-A-F. We continue to be hugely grateful for all the support given to us here at MJ Today Media by everyone over at Curaleaf. All right, time for the Blitz. McClatchy DC has a good piece up looking at the larger national storyline involving indicted Trump conspirators Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman, specifically their attempts to capitalize on legal marijuana while retaining the legal services of law firm Greenspoon Martyr, a larger national firm that now has a large and growing cannabis practice. Greenspoon Martyr moved earlier this week to drop Fruman and Parnas as clients, but has had a cozier relationship with them for years, as Parnas' son Aaron even worked there as a summer associate in 2018. This is a long and detailed read that I'd suggest opening up today. This next one needs an obvious disclosure as it concerns our sponsor Eaze, which just released its latest annual consumer report. Eaze calls its sales data stream, pulled up from the deliveries done on its platform, for anonymized insight and packages it up in a report that is useful and helpful in learning more about the latest legal cannabis consumers' behavior. Some of the key findings on this year's report is a jump in the number of older consumers age 50 and up ordering cannabis, as well as a rise in the number of women consuming and first-time delivery customers. Another good one to dive into fully. Late in the night on Tuesday in California, the Berkeley City Council voted in favor of a proposal to allow marijuana consumption lounges to open up. The local dispensary Berkeley Patients Group, or BPG, is the main driver on this one, as it's been fighting to open up a consumption space for patient customers in the new space it's moving its headquarters to. Besides allowing for lounges, the Berkeley City Council also approved plans to allow for 7 delivery services to operate in the city and for warehouses to be able to take cannabis delivery. That's an issue in Berkeley, where lots of people have converted warehouses to residential space. Sticking to California, we have another important city council vote taking place on Tuesday night as the Santa Cruz City Council voted to decriminalize psychedelic plants, including psilocybin mushrooms, peyote, and ayahuasca. While the measure passed by the council calls on police to keep arresting people for selling hallucinogenic plants, it does carve out protections for people to grow them at home. So these are fairly substantial steps. If this sort of thing is on your radar, probably not a bad one to read. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker gave his State of the State address earlier this week and spoke about the new progressive cannabis policy reforms embraced in his state, in particular pointing out that Illinois was benefiting from getting tax revenue from out-of-state visitors who come in from neighboring states like Wisconsin and Iowa to buy legal cannabis. The governor also highlighted Illinois' social justice initiatives, which include automatic expungement for low-level marijuana crimes and a program to help people with cannabis charges on their records or who are from areas disproportionately impacted by drug war police tactics to become a licensed business operator. Alan Brockstein over New Cannabis Ventures has a good piece catching us all up on the latest developments for High Times Holdings, the parent company of the High Times magazine, as well as the Cannabis Cup series. We've reported recently that High Times is now making a play to build out dispensaries, but as Alan is reporting, the company is not in great shape right now, with a planned NASDAQ listing being officially pulled back this month after they failed to raise enough money to qualify. The fact that High Times had just $12,000 cash on hand last June leapt out to me in this one. Not a story to pass up today. Give it a read. And finally for today, we have Marijuana Business Daily reporting on its own acquisition of the Emerald Conference, a science-focused convention taking place in California that we've actually had as a sponsor here at MJ Today Media. Marijuana Business Daily, which not only publishes news but also runs a popular series of live events, is scooping up the Emerald Conference to augment the science side of that business line. No terms on the deal itself were shared. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, Cureleaf, and to our awesome patron listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the patron listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.